It may be the offseason, but the hockey podcast will get in heated debates, even if it's just the merits of a proposed Louis Eriksson trade.
The one move I keep looking at as somehow the Canucks, if they can somehow find a way to make it work, I think it makes it free things up a little bit for them. It's actually a Louis Eriksson trade. It's a Louis Eriksson for Anton Strawman. Both have 2 years left. Louis Eriksson has a cap hit of 6 million, but only is owed he's owed 3 this year and then another 4 next year. I believe no, something like that. But he's owed less money than Strawman is in Florida, but Strawman's buyout would be a little bit easier to take for the Canucks if they go that way. Plus, he's a defenseman and a right shot defenseman that can fill out that issue, and then they open up a roster spot up front for other players there. You're not actually getting much in the way of cap room. Maybe you have to get a little more creative and make it a little more complicated, and you don't actually gain cap room, but it opens up a little more flexibility going forwards. So I'm very interested. I honestly think it is going to be a Sutter buyout because I think they're going to run out of other options. It's the last option that they really want to take, but I just don't see it out there right now unless they're willing to throw in a second round pick.
I just don't see Tampa Bay needing a Louis Eriksson. Especially you got which isn't wait, isn't Stroman with Tampa?
No, it's with Florida.
Oh, never mind. I was thinking
he signed there last year.
Okay, right. I for some reason had him in Tampa, but you're right, he's in Florida. But I mean, what's Quenneville gonna? Okay, apologies, but retrack. What the hell is Quenneville gonna do with Eriksson?
To say that Eriksson's not an NHL player is like absolute like crap. He is way overpaid at $6 million, but he's still an NHL player. He's still a good bottom six.
I'm not saying he's not an NHL player, but what's Quenneville going to do with him?
He's going to play him in his bottom six. What is he going to do with Anton Strawman, who's been putting up 10 points, 15 points a season, making 5.5? There, Kev. Like I'm not saying they're dumping Eriksson on him with nothing in return. They're swapping bad contracts.
I personally don't see it, Sean. I really don't. Looking at the depth here, it doesn't. I don't know what's in their system, what's in Florida's system, so that someone can step up into Anton Strawman's third pairing defense. Like I in a perfect world, yeah, that's what you want. But I'm with Kev. I just don't see that being a fit at all. If they do it, great.
Marcus Ludovara and Radko Gudas and Mackenzie Weegar on the right side. Well, Mackenzie Weegar plays the right. He's a right shot defenseman that can play both sides.
Totally. But what I'm saying is that why would Florida do that when they already have? Hold on. Let me finish. Look at their bottom six. It's filled with younger guys that are trying to make a difference. And why would you gum up that side or like the 4-6 forwards when you have young guys trying to jump in, and then if anything, you have your depth in wherever their farm team is for defensemen. It's proven that they take a longer time to get going and to become an NHLer than forwards do. So keep them down there. I don't see it. I don't at all. You've come up a couple times with these different trade options that, oh yeah, well, if they can do this, like that's a big fucking if, man.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a go-to, but the owners in Florida have said that they want to cut cash. This trade would cut cash. It's a Melnick trade. That's what it is. It's a Melnick trade. 2, you look at their forwards. There's no one on there that makes me think that Eriksson can't help them. They've got Ryan Lomberg, who Carter Verhaeghe. He barely played for Tampa.
I know what Lomberg is.
They've got Vinny Hinostroza, who it's just like there is a spot for him there. That's what I'm saying. Is like they've got 10 forwards signed. That's it. They've got 10 forwards signed right now.
All I know is,
and to say that Louis Eriksson can't help that bottom six is an absolute, like, I don't get it. Like, as overpaid as Louis Eriksson is, he's still a good bottom six forward who can penalty kill, and he's actually a quiet leader. I think is what people don't realize is he's actually an okay quiet leader. There's a reason that he got the little things moniker in Vancouver is because Travis Green said he does the little things well. So they can't learn from that. They can't for 2 years when you're owing him $1 million this year and then another $4 million next year. Like if there's a deal out there, it's going to be something like that. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it is going to happen. I'm not saying that's like Florida is going to be targeting Louis Eriksson. No one's going to be targeting Louis Eriksson to try and bring them in. But if you're going to find a way to make your roster a little more flexible, you have to make a deal like that. Even with Brandon Sutter, maybe you trade him for someone who's making $2.5-3 million. Somehow, I don't know, but like that's the type of they're going to have to make if there's a move out there. That's the move that they're going to have to make. It's not going to be a Louis Eriksson dumped off with a 3rd round pick for a 5th. It's not going to be that. No one's taking that on.
No, to be able to realize was that Sean's just trying to spitball or brainstorm here. He's trying to find a home for Louis, not saying this is likely to happen.
Well, no, but like if realistically, if you're thinking about getting a salary out of there, yeah, it makes sense on paper. But like the biggest thing is what's going to happen on the ice. Are you saying that who's a better player, Marcus Stroman or Louis Eriksson? I'd say that Marcus Stroman has a bigger impact on the game on ice than Louis Eriksson.
And I never said it was going to be a straight up trade. I said like that's the building blocks. You're probably going to have. I did say you're probably going to have to make it a little more complicated. Add some picks, add some players, whatever, to make it work. But that's the type of deal the Canucks are going to have to do to try and make this work. If they're going to try and find a way to improve their blue line, they're going to have to maybe take on a bad contract on the blue line and hope for like a Sutter or an Eriksson and hope that that player can outplay that can play better than they did last year. And Anton Stroman is someone that if I'm Jim Benning, I'm phoning Bill Zito on. And if that trade's not there, then you move on. But I'm saying that's the type of move you're going to have to look at. And to say that to literally honestly say that Louis Eriksson adds nothing to a roster is flat
That's not what I said, though. That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
That's what it comes across.
How is Joel Quenneville going to use Louis Eriksson?
Yeah, Joel Quenneville's an experienced head coach who knows what Louis Eriksson brings
and doesn't bring.
Yeah, but he's still. But like again, look at their bottom six. Like it's full of nobodies. Like it's not like he's replacing an up and coming player. Like they've got Owen Tippett coming up. But is he ready? Like they've got a bunch of young players, but are they ready to make the step to the NHL?
I've always liked Noah Acciari.
I have too.
I've always liked Vinny Hinostroza.
Mm-hmm. Brett Connolly's good.
Yeah, Brett Connolly is a guy that never fills his potential.
Connolly's a top 6 guy.
He's on the 4th line according to this, third line here at this particular point.
He's making 3.5, and he's a really good player. But yeah, it's about balance. And if you add a guy who can play penalty kill and that on your bottom 6, and you're getting rid of cash for your owner, it's something you would look at. This is the reason why Ottawa's made all those weird trades in the past, because their owner wanted to cut cash.
All I know is apparently, according to Elliot Friedman, who the Mackenzie Weegar sweepstakes, they are asking a lot for Mackenzie Weegar, like a lot. So that's why I'm not sure that works. I see what you're trying to say, but I don't think that they're asking a lot for Mackenzie Weegar.
Well, yeah, but they, like I said, on the right side, they've got Aaron Ekblad, number one defenseman with the bullet, and then they've got Marcus Nudavara, very underrated defenseman that they got for cheap out of Columbus. And then they've got Radko Gudas, who's a beast of a defenseman. They've got right side depth that they can get rid of. They and as well as Anton Stralman right now, they've got the depth. And then if they trade Weegar, what are they getting back? If they're getting back another young defenseman, then they've got the ability to move on from someone like an Anton Stralman for 2 years. I'm not saying, and they've got Chase Prisky coming up as well. All I'm saying is that's the type of move that you're going to make. Maybe it's not the right fit, but that's the type of move you make, and that's. And again, I don't think that you're to say that Eriksson does not bring enough to the to make it happen. I don't understand that.
Okay, listen. I love the creativity. I love where you're getting at. I love how you're thinking outside the box. Okay, I just don't. Yes, and that is the type of move that Jim Benning needs to look for. It's just finding a dance partner, and I don't think I think Anton Stralman brings more on the ice than Louis Eriksson. I'm not discounting Louis Eriksson as a player. He's still an NHL player, but he has flaws, and Anton Stralman, I think, is a better third line defender than Louis Eriksson is as a bottom six player. And that's what I'm saying.
Sean, would you be willing to throw Virtanen in that direct trade?
I mean, depends on what else is coming back, because they're still taking back a bad contract. Okay, but that's what I'm saying is there's got to be creativity there. All right, and let's just at this point, that's the type of stuff he needs to look at. And if I'm apparently way off the map and saying that Louis Eriksson is not an NHL and crazy to think that Louis Eriksson's an NHL player still, then like. I don't know what else to say, because for you literally to say, how is Joe Quenneville going to use Louis Eriksson when he plays PK for Travis Green. He's been moved up to play with Bo Horvat on his line because he's a safe player that can help build up the play. It is like blows my mind. It does. It literally does.
I don't see him in a regular, like looking at this Florida Panther forward lineup. I don't see.
They have 10 players signed. Like there's
okay, at this particular point,
spots available.
Hold on. Kev, you need to stop winding Sean up. I can hear his blood pressure boiling.
But like honestly, they have 10 NHL players signed right now. NHL forwards signed. It's not like they have 13, 14 signed that they know that there's no spot for them. There is a spot if they feel like they can make it work. I'm not saying they can, but to say there isn't is just blows my mind that you can say that when they have 10 NHL players signed. That's it.
Well, I'm on dailyfaceoff.com, and I'm looking at what their projected lineup is, and I see the way I see it here. They got some work to do, yes, but I see potentially 2 spots for him, maybe. I see him in a bottom 6 role, and I maybe see him as a 12th to 13th forward. That's why I'm saying, what the hell is he going to do with it? That's my, like, I'm not. And if you're making all these arguments, why does he not just keep him for the year here in Vancouver? He's going to help.
Because they need to find a way to flex it's flexibility. It's what it is. They've like on that line, they've got Owen Tippett. Is he ready to make that step? They've got
hold on,
Cinderella, who hasn't even signed, and they've got Carter Verhaeghe as their third line center, who wasn't even a regular player for Tampa. Is there and Grigory Denisenko, who hasn't played a full season in the NHL either.
What flexibility you're looking for? You're talking about flexibility. What flexibility are you looking for?
Well, if you move Louis Eriksson and get a bad contract back that's a defenseman, then you're filling a hole in the defense until players are ready. That's what I'm saying. With Florida it's the same thing. They've got some depth on the right side. They've got Kevin on daily faceoff. They've got Anton Stroman playing the left side. They've got Gudas, Nunavara, and Ekblad all on the right side.
Yeah.
So it's looking at that and seeing, is there a deal to be made there? I'm not saying that's the deal, but to literally just not say no, there's not a deal there, I think is ridiculous. They don't even have Riley Stillman on that line, and he's a legit NHL defenseman.